It's actually going to be very straightforward tonight because you know what? We haven't moved from the morning show. So actually, this is quite simple. Your 15 is holding. Still looking to short here, still looking to long here. There's not a lot to talk about here tonight. Yeah, you guys can use a live mentorship chat. There's people who can't access Discord because of the country that they're in, the region of country that they're in. So we use GateX now because some people just simply can't go on Discord voice. It's blocked in some countries, believe it or not. So we use GateX for this. I mean, yeah, this is super straightforward, everyone. Like there's not much there's not much to really be thinking about in terms of like where to long, where to short. You've got your target here, you've got your targets here from the stream today, you've got this here. The only thing I would like to update actually is some time frames with trends. So this is something that we did talk about in the mentorship lesson, and then I do want to kind of go through a few examples. Like obviously this trend here has been like laser accurate, so we don't really need to do too much with that. So what we can do in this scenario, hey Nuki baby, hey Noah, hey Jay Caparino, and Usurpator. Okay, so we can actually do a little bit of trend work here. One second, I gotta close my door. Okay, so we definitely want to do this trend work. We have the hourly here, so that's nice. So we have the hourly here, so we want to mark this first just to keep it up in the books. So we want to mark this first. Noah baby. Okay, we don't have a 4, right? Obviously 4 is too yeah, you just don't have a 4. We don't need to talk about why. Everybody knows why. So you do have this hourly, and it hasn't really broken anything yet. And then if you go here, you don't really have a 15. Like you don't have a 15 here, you don't have a 15 here. You have this from here to here, but that's not going to do anything for you in this trend because it has touched the 4 hour here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So you have your hourly, and you're going to have a 15, and your 15 is simply not established yet. So you don't really have any allowance on these trends because you know what? You have this here, which is the 15. It's disconnected from this trend here. So you have the hourly, and you have no other allowances on the hourly because you don't have any 4 hours here. It's the 4 hour base, and you actually have more interior trends there. So there is no allowance on any of these trends. They are just raw one-to-one trends, and that is literally it. So the only thing that you could consider, like obviously you have your origin here, and that's fine for polarity, but I would actually look more interior in this move. I would actually look right here. Let's double check on the 15. Which will be the backside 15, which will be created off of this. So if you think the range is going to break, you can actually short this, and this should be a 1 minute origin. I was hoping it was a 1 minute origin. Yeah, it's right there, but it's actually not. Son of a B. That's okay. So you got your inverse here, which held the move, which is just your guy right here. So yeah, so really you're going to be right in here. So you do just use the 1 minute trail here if you think it's shorting. I don't personally think it is. I think this is still laddering up. I would be careful on any shorts here. If you were going to ladder this, you would want to target the 3. I just don't think we've developed anything worthwhile. I think we developed a 15, and I think we dropped right to that same 15 right here. And you don't really have anything else. You created a 15, you've dropped to the 15, and you simply have this 15 like this. And I just don't think you're moving down yet. I think you need to hit one of these bigger targets here or one of these larger targets there. But it does look like there's going to be some movement happening here tonight. So it is important to stay sharp. But there's literally no trades to take right now. Even this 15 would have been a little suspicious. I probably would have went for the actual trend itself. Yeah, I don't really think there's too much that you'd be looking at here to take. Honestly, I think you're waiting for the bigger play at this point. I think you're so close to hitting such an important part of the move here, and then such an important part of the move here at 720. Obviously 23,720 is my kind of ultimate target here, and then 22,716 is good too, but I just don't feel like you're really looking for anything else here right now. I don't feel like you're looking for any other kind of short in the move. And for a long, I would still be here, which should be the hourly, I believe. Yeah, so that is your hourly right there. So your 15 breaks, you go down to your hourly, and then you go up to the higher target perhaps, right? So a scenario here that can happen is you go here down to this hourly. So you do travel up to here, down to the hourly, see if the hourly can hold. This is going to be a pretty important moment in the trade. Obviously, you're going to go either here or here. You're either going to bounce this, or you're going to go more towards the origin to create that distribution. So how come you use that top 1 hour range trend? Yeah, I wouldn't even really trust this, to be honest, Fredly. I marked it here because it's about the only thing we have. It's not like I would be using it to make any kinds of decisions at all. It can stay on the chart for all I care, and it can show me if this thing's going to constantly bounce it on a 5-minute chart. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, this is good. But right now it's useless. Oh, the yellow trend here. Yeah, you're asking about this guy here. I believe this is the hourly. Where did I have this guy marked? Maybe it was the 15. Where did I have this guy marked? I did mark it blue, but I've attached it here. Wondering if it should simply be right here. I believe it was here on the hourly. Yeah. It's here on the hourly. And then I believe I attached it to the 4-hour top, which is right here. And then it's just trading view being trading view. No, it's not that it's attached to the 4-hour distribution candle, because if you actually look, it's perfectly fine here. It's just trading view being trading view. Sometimes it'll get these random bugs, but if you actually attach it on the hourly, right here, right? And then I attached it to the 4-hour here because it was just the same distribution candle. So like you snap it here, it can actually be snapped to the hourly. That's fine. It's the same thing. It's just I have it yellow for some reason or another. I don't remember why I turned it yellow. It could have been the auto color tool that turned it yellow, but it is just the hourly. And then it gets wonky sometimes on TradingView. No, it's just a TradingView bug, guys. It's literally the same trend. It's literally one-to-one. It's the exact same thing. Why would you use that trend? It's a range trend. What do you mean? There's the range that's being protected, and there's the trend from it. It's a range trend. It doesn't have to be created only when the base is tested. No, that's not true. You can still use it as a trend. Doesn't matter if the level never got tested or not. It's just like what would you say, like an accumulation trend. It's just showing where the move can just hold down from the level. It doesn't have to go test the level to make it a trend. Like you can create a trend before you test the level. That's why you're seeing it hit here and respect it so perfectly. It doesn't. You don't have to hit a range to create a trend. It's just representing the top of this move, right? Like you're still testing this. You can still test this, right? It's not like you're breaking this trend and it's breaking this level. You can absolutely 100% still test this, and that would just move this trend further up, right? But for now, it's simply just pulled the move back. It's simply the move has stopped here, and now it's just developed a trend from here. Would you call that a range trend? I would. Should we care about the weekly level at 22,608? I wouldn't be looking at too many weekly levels right now. Like right here, 23, 22. I'm thinking you're talking about this. No, I wouldn't, because it's just the beginning of the range. Like that can go all the way from here all the way up into this region up here. So like it can go all the way up here. So I mean, you could go all the way up to 23,720 and say it just tested the weekly level. So I think the range is too big on that to consider that. You're probably just sleeping still. That trend was created when the range base was tested. Well, so you can create a range trend like that, right? Like you can create a range trend when like the base of a move gets tested. Like, okay, so like for example, right here, base of a move gets tested, you create a range trend. But if this isn't hitting any levels, it's not like you're gonna break this trend. So I think you guys are just mistaking the purpose of this trend. Like this trend isn't going to break and then all of a sudden you're going to fly out of your minds. You still have 2 levels. So in a way, this trend is useless because it can't really tell you anything. You could take a short on it. You could try it. Like it's been working out, but it's not like when this breaks, like when this breaks, it's not like it deletes these 2 levels. You see what I mean? So this trend is about as valueless as it is on the chart. However, it has been holding the move down, and when it breaks, it will simply like go up here. So it will be, you know, break either this very interior range trend in here or this, and you can call this a range trend or not. It's just, you know, kind of a trend, but it doesn't really represent much as to where like if you broke this trend right here, you'd be on like higher time frame part of the move, like back down to here or something like that, or the origin level right here, right? So that's the difference. Like this trend doesn't really have a lot of value on the chart. So I think that's, hey Seabass, I think that's where you're getting, you know, kind of that, like the trend breaks, what value does that give you? Like this trend breaks, it just goes to here. It's like not a big deal. It's like, oh, cool, we just moved up like 2%. This trend breaks, it's going to go attack the base of the move to see if it can stabilize, right? So yeah, I just think the value of the trend is very, it's very reduced. Like it's almost valueless. I wouldn't take a short on it. I mean, it looks like it's been working out for shorts, people who have taken shorts on it, but like it's not anything significant on the charts. Thought a range trend was created off a tested hold level. Yeah, and again, that's just like the value of that trend and what it's worth, right? Does that make sense? Like you don't even really need to have this on your chart if you didn't want. Because breaking it's not going to do anything outside of what we already expect right here, right? Like this isn't going to really help us in any way. Like if you're taking a long, I don't think you'd be taking a trend break first off. It's almost the same thing as this trend. Like how important is it? Sure, we can mark it on our chart, but how important is it, right? If this stabilizes the move, you're going to get like a pretty important trend that will create architecture thereafter. That's about the limit to how important this trend is that it could technically create architecture in the future off of like something like here out to something like out here or whatever. But again, like this trend doesn't really do much for us. Like it's not really, take it off your chart for all I care. Like you don't even really need it because again, it's not something you're making a decision on. But could it in theory sit here and hold and then we start creating like bigger 4-hour and daily architecture off it and then we need to use that as kind of an inflection point? Yeah, for sure. But it doesn't do anything for us. It's as valueless of a level as you can make it to be. How does it interact with the idea that the trend is the level where it comes from? It doesn't, because the level hasn't been tested. You've got your untested levels here. You've got that here. This is like very, very valueless, this trend. Does that interaction only occur once it is? Yeah, like you have to test that level, right? Like you have to test this level in order to have that kind of like trend thing that you're talking about, like what we've been talking about. You have to test this. Like you have to go up here and test that in that area for that. So if you're thinking like, oh, this trend can break the level, it can't. It can't, because the level's not even tested to create the trend that could break the level. This trend is simply like, okay, let's float this part of the move for the next like 3 days. Okay, cool. Now all of a sudden we could read this trend and like we could be out here on red, and that's all that this would create. And then you would use this as your actual trend, right? So like this is just kind of showing you that if it holds for long enough, you can have like a bigger architecture here. Again, very valueless in the moment. Accurate, yes. Really cool trend, yes, for sure. But like I don't really know like what information you could glean off of it by just not like testing this level here, or like the break rate here. It creates kind of a spike on the move. It continues to test it. It's going to surpass it. It's going to bounce off this 15. This is going to get deleted and we'll use a different trend completely. You see, so like you can have the trend, but it doesn't do anything for you. It straight up doesn't do a single thing for you. Hopefully your summer's been good there, Seabass. I know you took some time off to spend with your family, so hopefully that's been good and you're back in the game, my dude. Yeah, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to this trend or give it too much value, everybody, because I wouldn't be making any decisions on it. Like I wouldn't be sitting here saying like, oh, we got to short this trend again. I would just fully expect it to break and we go up to this level and pull back, or come up to this level up here and then, you know, see what happens. So yeah, I wouldn't give like any value to this trend. I wouldn't try to replicate it, and I also wouldn't make buying or selling decisions on it. I'm still waiting for this to get tested. I would still like to see this hourly get tested to establish the continuation of this move. I think this is very much like test this part of the move, and it's just going to be like down here when we were looking at this part of the move, and you know, you're just kind of establishing that interior piece. I think that's really what you have to pay attention to here, is hitting this trend and getting that interaction with level trend combination here, and getting one of your final push-ups to these levels, because there's still a nice little profit to squeeze out here. Like there's still a nice, you come down to here, there's still a 4% profit. Like that's huge. And there's like 7 or 8% to this, 9 almost. Like these are huge trades. So you really got to be conscious of this stuff down here, because you know, you're not expecting this to all of a sudden just stop moving up from here. It hasn't kind of pushed the final part of its range. So it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. If you're trading tonight, it's a straight up waiting game. Huh, it actually did go after this. I thought it was going to go a little higher. I thought it was going to go right here. Oh, that's fine too. I mean, taking this as a short, I guess you could, but I don't know if that's going to hold the move. I would be more looking like, where do we have it? I think it was like right here. Well, we can just, yeah, there it is. Well, everybody, that's it for me tonight. I mean, this is a short and sweet little session tonight. We've been stuck here since the morning.